Hi folks, I decided to show you a game as my new video upload, which is supposed to be a bit of a coaching or lecturing about how to attack in the Sicilian. It was a game of mine, so I'm very humbly again blowing my own trumpet. The opening was the very famous Keres attack, which is probably the most aggressive approach against the Sicilian Scheveningen, and the idea is very obvious. White wants to gain space on the king side and attack in the center and in the king side ASAP. My opponent, he played bishop pawn a6. No, he didn't. He played bishop e7, g5, knight drop back. I played h4. He played a6. I played bishop e3, he played knight c6, and I played queen h5. This is basically a move that is designed to provoke some sort of weakening on the king side from black, which did happen in the game in the shape of g6. Now the idea is that after the queen drops back to e2, after quick f4 h5, we immediately have a target. He played queen c7, castled, and I think, although I haven't looked it up yet, but I think he made a massive inaccuracy here by playing b5. This is just too provocative. I took on c6, and by the way, I think he should have probably played I don't know what, maybe knight c5, I guess. Yeah, knight c5 looks reasonable. Anyway, he played b5, I took on c6, he took back, and I played bishop d4. The idea with this move is that in theory neither of the e5 moves, whether it be knight or pawn, is really good for black. Obviously after knight e5 I have got pawn f4 winning a piece on the diagonal. So knight here f4, and the rook is hanging and the knight is hanging too, so that's GG. Or if the pawn moves to e5, I'll just draw back, and now I have got a beautiful d5 square, and my bishop on this diagonal can be very annoying as well. So he decided to play rook g8, trying to maintain some sort of status quo, and still hoping to play bishop b7 followed by castling here to avoid the immediate disaster. But I made sure that this king never saw the sunlight anymore. I played bishop g2, and after bishop b7 I played a very typical Sicilian attacking move. My opponent is just about to castle, so I have to hit the iron as long as it's hot, and I did it by playing knight d5. Now the idea with this move is that obviously castling is impossible because the bishop is hanging on e7. My opponent played knight e5. Of course, after capture I would take back, and if the queen drops back I have got rook here, putting an enormous amount of pressure on e7, and if the knight is about to block it I can kick it out. And for example, just for the sake of an example line, after knight c4 bishop f6, it's game over, because the white pressure along the e-file is just too strong, and once I win the e7 bishop it's game over. So that was the reason why he decided not to take this knight, but to play knight here, which I then followed up by rook here. The idea is the same. If he takes, I take back, followed by f4. He played knight c4, still not wanting to commit to anything in the center, and I just simply continued with f4. Although in this position I might have had stronger moves, for example bishop f6, trying to force matters, but I think that f4 is fine. Really, black can't do much at the moment. Castling is impossible, the bishop is constantly on, taking is also out of the question, so it's a bit of an situation for black where it doesn't matter what he does, he's going to die anyway. He played e5, which allowed me to execute a very neat tactics. I dropped the bishop back here, and now f5 is pending as well as many other things, so he decided to take. Now this move is a typical move where we immediately need to smell blood, in the sense that now there is an opportunity to open up this diagonal as well as this file by playing e5. Now I didn't do that right away. I could have, and maybe I should have, I don't know which one is more accurate. I haven't checked the game with the computer. After e5, knight f6 check is threatened to win the queen, and therefore the game is over, because otherwise I would take on d6 and these drops. But I did the opposite, or the inverse. I took first and then I played e5. I don't know, maybe the other one would have been more accurate, but this one led to a beautiful checkmate. Now the bishop is hanging. He doesn't really have much choice but to take it, as the same thing occurs, and I even keep my bishop. And now after he takes d6, I have got a forced checkmate. It's a double check. The king can go to these squares. He chose to go to f8. Had he gone to d8, I would have given this checkmate, and the same moves apply after queen d7, queen e7, and this checkmate. Please note that this is covered by the rook. And finally he walked into the nicest checkmate out of all by playing king f8, whereupon check, and bishop d4 check. Finished the game. He sadly didn't allow me to execute this rather spectacular and unusual checkmate motif, but that would have been the epic finish of this game. I hope you guys enjoyed it and found it instructive. So I guess this was a reasonably good game to demonstrate how to attack against the Sicilian, and in particular against a king that is stuck in the middle. And I shall be back with more soon. Thanks for watching.